All right. Let's do this again, man. This time, five things apiece. And we should alternate. I think you should start first.
Okay. Let's warm up just a little bit. 'Cause I have some stuff. Um, yeah, so I think, so I ordered, I realized I ordered headphones, but I had them shipped to my sister's place in DC. So I had to, because uh, her kid's birthday is coming up. And so I bought so I just had like the wrong address. So I got the
Amazon.
notification from Walmart.
Okay.
So I got the notification uh, that arrived today, and I go down there and I didn't check, and it wasn't there. And then my sister texted me.
I've done that. I asked about
So every
Amazon because I've done that
so
before.
every week I will add one more thing to the podcast. Next week will be headphones. I gotta get a fucking haircut, shave. Yeah, because do you still use the dating apps?
I guess they're terrible though. It's like, let me guess. You're in Southern California, so you do yoga, you like tacos, and you like tequila. Like it's not.
Yeah. No, and I just hate texting at first. But anyway, so I haven't been on it since like September. So I was seeing that Brazilian woman, but
You need to
she went back
use
to my.
them. Like, how else would you meet people?
I could walk down to the fucking bar.
Yeah, but not like a bar girl. We're talking about at this point in our lives, almost 40 years old.
A classy bar girl. I live in a classy area. No, but anyway, so she went back to Brazil like a month ago, and then I've just been putting it off. I have to like clean my fucking place, get a haircut, shave, blah blah blah. But so next week I'm gonna have to try a little bit more on that. But it's been nice to take a little break because I mean I was seeing her for like almost 4 months, and then I was in a 6 month relationship with that married woman, which ended kind of when you were here in August. Yeah, I think that might have been like the last time. Oh, I guess I had dinner with her a couple weeks later, but yeah. And so so haircut, shaving, headphones. Now that's a podcast.
Then we'll be cooking.
Um,
Yeah, no, I try the apps, man, but it's hit or miss. It's very hit or miss.
well, I just don't even like the whole process sucks because like it just sucks. Like you initially have to start by like texting, and it's just like ugh.
I find a lot of people promoting
I
the
have
person
offended
that
a
they
lot of
wish
women
they
on there
were.
though.
What's that?
What? I have offended a
What's
lot
that?
of women on there.
I mean,
What?
I seem to see a lot of women or run into a lot of women who are posting this person that they wish they were.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So again, you know, you're gonna meet them. It's like, oh, you actually don't do the yoga yet. It's just the tacos part. Got it.
So I had it on mine. Well, I got banned from Tinder and stuff like a couple weeks after I started using it. So I can only use Bumble. So it's not good. But I just have
They're
it in
all
my
the same.
profile.
They're all the same.
Yeah, but in
They're all the
Bumble,
same.
you have to like, yeah, but Bumble's more difficult because the woman has to
There's the
contact
same
you
dead
first.
weight flying around on all those sites.
Okay, fine. But and yeah, so I just have in my bio like drinks heavily. You know, there's always like they just put that
Accurate.
stuff. I'm like often, yeah. But it's kind of funny. And then the only good thing with texting, I guess, is like because I have down there, because I write like some political satire stuff, And so I'm like, oh, I'm on the left, and obviously, and so sometimes a woman will be like, oh, I love Rachel Maddow, and then I'll have like a couple jokes on that, and they do not like it. All right. Well, I looked into the Amazon thing briefly with the healthcare thing,
Okay.
and what was your what was your take on Amazon's healthcare thing
I
again?
said I thought it was going to be a good thing because Obamacare was like the first iteration of something that was like a basic level of care being taken care of at like an affordable price. It's like $13 a month, but this is going to be $8 a month, and it's going to be better than that. I think it is online, but there are so many in-person consultations, like if you buy that tier of service, and so my whole point was this is a good thing. Everything's marching in the right direction. The government starting the conversation has now created this opportunity for a billionaire to step in and create something better, and maybe eventually we have something even better. That's my point.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be through Amazon. And so I'm looking at the website now. Um, for one thing,
But you think it's
um,
going in the right direction with this Amazon thing, right? Like this is a good thing, is
no,
my
I don't.
point.
No, I do not trust Amazon for 1 second to help fix our healthcare system. Not for 1 second. And here's the problem I have. So I'm on the website.
I don't think
Some
they're
of it's
fixing
like,
the healthcare system, John. Like you get my point, right? It's like they are driving down the cost of sorry, man, good affordable healthcare. Is the point. Like they are moving the needle on what you can what you have to supply at what price is my point. That's really what they're doing.
okay, yeah, but you're not getting like whatever $8 a month. I mean, you're not. But so here's the other thing too. So then I go to, they're like, oh, the one medical office near you or whatever. So I go to Chicago, and the whole thing doesn't even make sense now because so the first location's in Fulton Market, which is the West Loop, but that's all like rich people. That's where all the tech companies moved in.
Wait, but
And
again, you're getting
hold on,
lost in the minutia though.
no,
And
hold
I
on,
don't care. I know it's going to be
hold
messed
on.
up.
Can I just finish this?
I agree
Okay.
with you that
The
they're
second
probably going to.
location, the second location's in Lincoln Park on Halstead Street, rich area. There's one in the Loop. There's one in River North. There's one in
I
Wicker
don't.
Park. Can I finish, please? There's one in Deerfield. There's one in Oak Brook Promenade, and there's one in Skokie at Old Orchard, which actually they're converting into apartments, I think. And so, yeah, but those aren't the people that need $8 health insurance. Like they're
You're not
not.
hearing me. You're not hearing me because that's not even the point of what I was saying. Like you're not even hearing me. You're telling me, you know, procedurally why it won't work, and I believe you, but that was
I'm not saying it won't
not
work. I'm saying it's a scam. I think it's a scam. So
okay. What I'm saying is conceptually at a higher level than all of that. All of that. What I'm saying is one person deciding, oh, the government's doing it, I can do it better than that. I'm not talking about whether it works or doesn't, or is a scam or isn't. What I'm saying is Obamacare started the conversation. This is the next person to speak in the conversation. I don't think this
Amazon.
is going to be. Yes, that's the whole story. Is they're doing it too now. I'm not getting caught up in it if it works or not. What I'm saying is the conversation is changing. Somebody else is going to come along after them. And then they're going to say, okay, well, we want to take an attempt at it, but we have to learn from Obamacare. We have to learn from Amazon Care. And now we have to do it this way and we have to charge this much. That's what I'm saying is this is an important step to get to a system that costs like around the same, but is actually good. I believe all of the problems you're about to talk to me about will exist for sure. And I don't think it'll necessarily survive or be good. And it could be a scam, like you said. I'm not making any points for that or against that. I'm saying this starts a different conversation. And I'm waiting for the next person to come along and say, okay, now let's try it our way, is my point.
So, what corporation do you want next to do this?
I don't,
Billionaire?
I'm not getting caught up in the semantics of that. What I'm saying is operationally, we have something that isn't that great with Obamacare. Amazon has now come on. They're offering something that is still kind of shitty, but a little less shitty. What I'm saying is, I can
No, this
logically
one's way
deduce
worse.
that next
This one's
people
way
will
worse.
offer something that is even less shittier. Is my
Well,
point. Like we have to keep going in that direction. Is my point.
yeah, I mean,
That's different from categorically being like that's bad because this because that. I don't care. What's the next thing going to be?
yeah, I mean, you still need other health insurance for this, though. It's not like just $9 a month uh, or $100 a year, I guess.
There are problems with it, but I think again, I'm looking at it at the very highest level. You can go see a doctor with this for like $13, I think it is, or whatever. Or no, I'm sorry, 9 or whatever it is. But that's the whole point. Is now if you are somebody who has used affordable care, you now have an option that is actually cheaper than affordable care, but a little bit better than affordable care. This is not an option for me. I'm still going to go to the same thing that I was doing at work, and I'm not going to. Obamacare,
Okay.
affordable care wasn't going to change that. This isn't going to change that. But to a lady on a budget where she's like, "Wait, oh shit!" Like it's costing me 13 now, but you saying I get better care for like $5 less. Like that's a real big needle mover for people. Is my point. If the
Okay, but
services are the same,
the problem is, though, okay, so it's not actually an insurance plan, anyways. This is like you know, help subsidize your thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to actually see some like testimony on how this actually works because it literally says on their website, One Medical is not an
John, you get
insurance plan. One Medical does accept health plans for most insurance carriers as well as Medicare. Some of the most popular plans that One Medical
it's technically
accepts.
not a medical plan. It's not a medical plan. So they're right to say that it's not a medical plan.
Yeah,
It's
but
more like a
we're only
discount club. It's like
we're talking.
it's like a Medicaid thing almost.
Yeah, no, I understand what Amazon's trying to do, where their idea is like, well, if we can get 50 million people to give us $9 a month or whatever,
Which is on
then
top of like, but that's if you're an Amazon Prime member. So really, if you take a larger step back, this is an add-on service for them, which is why they want it to be set. That's what it is for them. Like we're trying to get you to go from 14.99 a month, which you pay for Amazon Prime, to now this too. So now we're trying to move everybody that we can up to what is it? 22 or whatever it is, whatever the new number is. That's the point for them. And I guess the leverage is, even though it's going to be shitty, is it still better than affordable care? Which I think it is, which is why I brought it up to you last time. It's interesting because it is better than affordable
well,
care.
I wonder now. I think about because I have another example of this in some ways, but I wonder too if I mean a lot of it could just be data collection. Amazon could be like, yeah, we'll kind of break even, and then we'll collect a shit ton of uh, health
What
data.
isn't like that today? That's the world we live in. Thanks to Obama. Like that's the world we live in. Like that. Like all that data is
I don't want to give it
sellable.
to Amazon. I'll give you another example of who essentially does this
They
as
could buy
well.
it anyway off of the third party. Like don't like they could get the data if they want. Like you care about the rate they pay for it, then maybe this is an issue. But they can get the fucking data, dude.
Well, once they're collecting, yeah, you don't know. I mean, it's tough. I mean, BetterHelp is kind of like this as well, where they make all their money by selling the data, which is kind of fucked up, right? Because they're just like a middleman between that and the doctor, I guess.
No, I think it's more what you said though. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think it's more what you said though about the whole aspect of being able to go to these networks and say, okay, we have X amount of a pool or users. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to be tied in with fucking Amazon. I don't even use Amazon. Um, I don't know. It's just when I look at this, it's like, well, where are all the locations? And they're not like they're just in the nice area. It's like I'm not even sure what this means.
Yeah, but that could change though. Like if it catches fire, like I'm not. That's just semantics. I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is
It's not
how many
semantics. It's
people
the
are.
location of where they're building these fucking things, and they're in places where people don't care about $8 a month for this. Like it's
Okay, great. What's the next thing you got?
Jesus. All right, go Amazon. Um, yeah, one of these weeks, in a couple of weeks, we'll try doing some clip reactions or something. That could be kind of fun if we can find something that has been done to death already that week, on online. And yeah, I guess I'll do that. I'll start with the Google Doc too. I don't know. It just makes it easy. We just have one document with everything, and or folder. And you can put whatever links or whatever information you want into there. As
Just
we
start the
slowly
document. It takes
become
like 2 seconds. Do it today after we're
what?
done. I said just start it today after we're done. It takes like 2 seconds. Just
Yeah,
do
I
it
know. I
after
have
we're
it written
done.
down. I haven't read it down since I didn't read it back since last week. But
I
it's just good.
know.
I'm just saying, as we get more, it's good to be organized, and we'll slowly be more organized.
I agree, which is why I said you should start it today. It takes two
Okay.
seconds.
Okay. Good opinion. Um, and then yeah, I had a Wendy's joke since they changed their mind from last time. But what do you think about Elon Musk suing OpenAI? Where did you hear
I don't
about that?
know. I mean, I may have heard about it in passing. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't understand the implications.
Of Musk suing OpenAI,
Hmm.
I think there's probably a lot. It's going to be a very powerful company, and I think they did. I think Larry Summers is now on the board of OpenAI, like bullshit like that. I don't know. It's funny too because Musk is being sued by all the executives from Twitter when he took over the company. So they're suing him for like I think 280 million. Yeah. So like some of these people, Elon Musk must be in like 10 trillion lawsuits at one time. All right. Well, let's move on to something you might know about Puff
Yeah, but I
Daddy.
don't understand what the basis of this is, though. I don't understand like what they're in court for, though.
Well, it's not in court yet. He's suing OpenAI. Um, uh, Essentially, it's going against because OpenAI is trying to have it like both ways. It's supposed to be. It started off as a public or as a nonprofit, but then as it expanded and took on more investors, so they had to make money. So there's like a nonprofit and a profit part of the same company. The whole thing's convoluted, and
But
some of
why
this
is he
AI.
suing?
What? Well,
Why
he
is he
was an
suing
early.
them?
Well, he was an early investor in it, but left like a long time ago. But it's Elon Musk, and he's on that like he doesn't like wokeness and all that shit. And so there's going to be a lot of ethical things that are going to have to be decided with AI. And Elon Musk doesn't. He said he doesn't trust the board and the people that are in charge at OpenAI to do it, and he has the money to sue.
But he's not a part of the board anymore.
No, and he
All
also
right, then
has.
I
He's also doing competing AI businesses. Tesla has their own AI thing. I mean, he has competing
I mean,
businesses
I
as
guess I don't
well.
understand the question of what do I think about it. It's like I don't think anything about it. I think it's
Yeah, he
satellite
told me.
warfare. I think AI is still gonna. Nobody's stopping AI. He's if anything, he's doing something to manipulate his control of the market. But it's not. Something that is inevitable, and that lawsuit is not going to change anything one way or the other. I don't think.
Oh, well, I don't know. It might. Once if he wins. I mean,
That's why I was asking you what is the basis of the lawsuit?
well,
I
who do
mean,
you want?
based off
Well,
what you,
who do you want in charge of AI? I mean, someone's still in charge of AI.
That's not
And
the
so there's going to
lawsuit,
be a
John.
battle.
They aren't in court going, who's going to be in charge of AI. I'll have to look into it. Like you said, do a Google document, and I'll check more into it and look back because I think there's probably some nuanced point I'm missing about the whatever it is that they're at odds about or whatever.
All right, pick a topic.
Apps versus cable TV. What do you like? What do you think about what's happening now, man? Because the whole point, I
You're
think
the
it's
only
like
person I know that you. You're the only person I know that uses cable TV. I think.
so. Let me finish my point that I was going to ask the question. And I also don't use or have cable TV. The point I was going to make is we can remember having cable TV growing up, but today it's different. And with the price of all the apps and like literally commercials are back in the apps now
Oh,
too. How
I'm sorry.
long before
You
we
froze. Can you
see
repeat
something?
that from the beginning? You froze. I
I
didn't
was
hear
just
anything.
gonna, yeah, I was just gonna say that just we grew up with cable TV, but we've seen that these apps have expanded their premium services. They've added commercials. It's really expensive now. So, like, how long do you think before we see like the advent of like cable come back? You know what I mean? It's like I'm like, I assume people probably just have a few of these apps that they pay for, but I like, I have Amazon Prime, Netflix, like Hulu, like I watch stuff on all that. And if you look at it, it's no longer the argument that it's cheaper. Do you know what I mean? Than what cable TV was. I don't know.
Well, I still think it actually is still cheaper, but people can also have fewer streaming services.
So it's like their choice, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not the days anymore where Netflix was like $8 or whatever. Now it's like 15 or whatever.
22. Yeah, it's like 22 now. They raised it again. It's 22. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you
Um,
didn't have to have commercials before, which was great. But now they're like these six sons of bitches will let us run ads too. So now they're like, oh, you can get the premium level with sans the ads. Like it's getting out of control, dude.
yeah, I know their cheap one. I think the cheap one is $6 with ads, isn't it, or $7 with ads? It's
Oh,
like
I
their
don't think
lowest
so.
tier.
For Netflix, I think it's like 14.99, the cheapest.
All right, look it up.
Yeah, it can't be like $6. So.
The one with
Or else
ads.
you just
So
or else you
it,
just watch the fucking ads the whole time. $6.
it will be interesting to see. Um, it'll be interesting to see what Netflix does with WWE because obviously that deal starts um, in January of 2025.
And it's real
And
interesting because SmackDown is coming over to USA in October of 2025, I think.
uh,
So it becomes like, I mean, like that. So that's SmackDown, and I think USA is keeping it on Fridays. That becomes like a big thing for them.
yeah, because I think Fox didn't want the deal anyways. USA still does. Anyways, but my point being, it's not like you're gonna. I assume there's still Netflix is still doing a live show because that's how you can sell ads. So even if you have the premium thing,
They are
Fox
going to
is
do a live show, definitely. Yeah.
yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. It's just gonna be interesting to see how that works because obviously Netflix, you can't have just like a 3 hour show with no breaks. Actually, that'd be great if they did
Well,
like
they
that too.
just did a. Well, they did the SAG Awards just recently, which is plus 2 hours, and you have commercials in there. Raw has commercials now. They'll have commercials. There's commercials. There'll be commercials. I'm sure.
Okay, so streaming for Netflix, the standard with ads is what they're calling it, $6.99 a month. The standard,
Wow.
the standard is great video quality, so it's like
Which means
1080p.
shitty.
Watch, yeah, I mean, I can't even tell. I can't tell the difference between 4K and 1080p.
You're gonna be
Uh,
inundated with so many ads. It's $6.99, dude. I don't have like some premium pack. I'm paying $22. It's like me and three other people can watch. But it's like I don't even think that's the most expensive one they have, though, dude.
it is. That's the one I have. The standard one's 15.49 a month, and then
15,
I
right? That sounds right.
yeah, then I have the premium one, which is 22.99 a month with the
Okay,
4K.
15. Yeah, you were saying like $6.99. I'm like, no, not for
Six
fucking
ninety nine
Netflix.
is the no 6.99. I just fucking told you 6.99 is the standard with ads. That's the cheapest one for 6.99 you can get on Netflix.
So
For
$15.99 is
15,
standard without
there's no
ads.
ads. Yeah, but the standard one doesn't not
Okay,
have ads. It's the lowest one,
gotcha. Okay, you
6.99.
didn't say that part before. Okay, gotcha. Okay,
I read the whole
got it.
thing. I was saying for wrestling though, even with the premium thing with that, they're still going to have ads, and then I imagine Netflix is going to try to get into sports eventually. So wrestling's like tiptoeing, I
They
guess, into
already
sports.
are with like esports and shit like that. So like, yeah, they're obviously just gonna keep diving further down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, but cause I'm trying to think of like, so how did that football deal work? Because I know people are always mad at that. So Apple got, or no, Amazon got the Thursday night games, and then I know people are upset. I forget what football games were being played, but Apple had it, which I didn't even know they had a deal with the NFL with, and I know people were upset online because who has I don't have Apple TV, and then all the games are blocked out in the local areas now, anyways.
I mean, I think people were just upset because they thought more providers meant cheaper, and that was not necessarily true with the NFL. It's like you can go to YouTube or wherever, DirecTV or wherever, but you're still going to pay. Period. So it doesn't really matter where you want to watch the NFL, unless you want to watch one national game with a lot of ads. That's how Amazon pulls it off. It's they're selling Pizza Hut like crazy or whatever it is ad of the week. That's if that's your thing. Sure, watch it. Those other NFL packages though, like Red Zone and stuff like that, like it's ad free. It's literally ad free football. That's why they charge so much more. NFL is getting over if somebody is going to pay Amazon $14.99 a month, like just for that football game. Like, man, like, they're going to give you 300 ads in the middle of that. So, I mean,
I do have to say, the other day I did see an ad for Domino's. Oh, I must have been talking to Tim about Domino's. I didn't realize you could still because Domino's like on like DoorDash and shit, it's like super expensive. But if you go to their website, it's still like whatever two for 6.99. You know that thing they've had for like decades now. And god damn it, I had the pizza. It was great. I like Domino's.
too much in high school. I'm over it.
Yeah, you know, I always get the thing. It's funny too because I wish they still had it. Remember, they changed their recipe in like shortly after we were in high school, maybe like 2006 or something. And that's when they, because I used to get that sausage pizza from Domino's. It was like great. Because what was that terrible fucking local place called? Wapagetti's. That was like the
I was
greatest
just gonna
fucking
say you should order up some Wapagettis.
that pizza was
I've never seen cheese before or after that look like that. Like chemically, I've never seen cheese like be that like thick, like a thick coating
yeah.
or a
It was,
sheet,
I don't
but
like that
also
shit.
like and it would be a little stringy, but not very stringy. You remember how the cheese would come like 2 inches off the pizza, but never any further than that. Just like 2 inches, and then the dough was so thick, so you could beat another kid with that fucking dough. Dude.
It would just
Like
be a soggy mess. It was just a soggy mess.
it was a soggy mess. Oh, so much grease, dude. Oh my god, Wapagettis. It was like for as often as they're here, why don't we just get like real pizza? I never understood that, man. I'm looking at my thing because I got Instacart coming in 3 minutes. I was telling somebody this at church the other day, dude. I was like, I did it out of laziness to start, but I like ordering the groceries online because it keeps me from ordering shit that I don't need or want. Like when I go to the grocery store, my eyes are gonna do the shopping. I'm in the well, it's bullshit in the cart. I shouldn't have got anyway. It costs so much more. On here, I just put exactly what I want. and I tell you exactly what the substitutions would be, or I say don't get it if there's no substitutions, and it's bring it right to me for an extra $5. Like, so I've actually saved money doing Instacart, like a lot.
Yeah, I definitely use it sometimes for sure. Because mostly just because I'm too lazy to go to the store. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't have a car, so I'm not gonna be
you don't
lugging
have a
groceries down the
car
street. No,
in
I
LA?
got rid of it. I got rid of it in the pandemic, just because affordability it was tougher, and I was working from home, and so now, I mean, I probably will get a car this year. I think actually, because I want to do more hiking stuff further away. But it wasn't a problem for the longest time. I mean, like lots of times I'm doing something socially, we're drinking, so I should be Ubering anyway. Most of the times I'm not doing shit on the east side. Like I'm not going over there. I'm not going east of east of the 405 that far. Like I'm over here, but by like Pico, like just west of Beverly. So a lot of stuff I do is over here, Beverly Hills area, Santa Monica, Venice, Manhattan Beach. Like that's relatively close by, and all my friends are close by. So it hasn't been a big problem. But like I wanted to do a hike up in like I wanted to go up near Yellowstone. So it's like it's drive a little bit to get up there. So I got to get something that I think will be able to do that, and like Utah too, which is like a little further away, but I want to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a car,
But you don't
but I
need one
also
though. When I lived in Chicago down
yeah, I
there, I
know
would
I live
park
in
my car
Florida.
on the weekend and never move it, like because I wanted the parking space so bad. It's like I'm not gonna move this car till I have to go to work on Monday.
Yeah, yeah, no, but I also live near like a grocery store. I guess you could too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in LA, obviously, but yeah,
There's not that much
it's
near
just.
me though. They shut down so much
I mean,
shit.
I don't
Like
really leave
the
like
rent
a
in these
2 mile
spaces are
radius.
so
You know,
premium
like
that like the grocery store couldn't afford it. The Ralphs had to leave,
in LA, like 2 miles is not very far. So if I take the bus,
but it's still
I
gonna
think
take a while.
I'll take the bus up to Trivia tomorrow. Um, no, it's quick, but it only but it's only like 1.7 miles away or something. Like 1.9. When I was living in
Sure.
Oviedo, the closest restaurant, especially like during COVID and shit, um, the the closest thing was a McDonald's, and I was 3.1 miles away. I could drive to fucking Chinatown. I could go to Chinatown here is like 2.9, but you have to go through a whole goddamn city. Versus
There's
Oviedo,
no McDonald's. I'm in like a Orthodox Jewish Beverly Woods. It's like Orthodox Jewish. There's no fast food in the community. Like it's all like Jewish delis and shit like that. Um, so yeah, none of that stuff exists. But I mean, as far as getting around, it's pretty simple, dude. Like it's I also feel like it can work in this town because a lot of my friends like when they invite me places, they'll think about that beforehand. And a lot of times when I get invitations, somebody's usually like, "Hey, and if you want to go, like I can swing by and get you on the way, or so and so is going. I already talked to them. They say you can ride with them, or dude's in the band. He can come scoop you." So I feel like in LA, a lot of that shit works itself out. It's not like that in other cities. In Chicago, nobody's like thinking about how the hell I'm going to get to wherever the thing is, But
yeah,
it's been easy
because
enough.
no one expects. Yeah, because now your friends are gonna be like, "Oh, Rob, you're gonna take the bus." Like, I don't know anybody that took the bus in LA. I was the only one I knew that took the train.
I've taken the bus going to work here at points before I worked remotely, but also to the airport too, because it's not that complicated. It's like take two buses from where I live. And you get to the airport easily for like $2. That's better than because the Uber rates at the airport going to and from are absolutely ridiculous. Going to LAX, I don't know what happened. They created this Uber lot, and they swore that they fixed the problem with Uber and all those drivers. But since then, you cannot get an Uber leaving LAX for less than like $80, dude. You can't get anything leaving there. So I started taking the bus to and from.
Yeah, I know the Uber drivers here. They did like a 1 day strike at O'Hare like maybe a week or two ago. Um, but yeah, yeah. One time I had to fly. I think it was Christmas Eve, and I had the red eye to Miami. and it might have been my last year in LA actually. And so like I didn't really have any money and shit, and because it was Christmas Eve, I thought it was kind of be empty, but it was the exact opposite. The price surging was like 15 times. It was a $250 Uber ride to get to the LAX. I had to call my mom because I didn't have $250.
I believe it. I believe it.
two
I
hundred
believe
fifty
also
dollars.
like that last minute travel out of LAX is crazy too. I've traveled like the Friday before Christmas. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fly to Phoenix, and I thought, oh, Christmas is on Sunday. It's Friday evening late. I'm like, oh, nobody's gonna be there. No, dude, it took hours to
That's
get
when
to the
everybody's
airport.
fucking flying. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. Like literally every one person in LAX had the same idea as me. So learned my lesson that day. I was running through the airport, Home Alone style, screaming, "Don't close the plane! Don't close the plane!"
Yeah, the
I
trucking
barely
and everything.
made
I mean,
it.
Chicago's good. I mean, I don't know. Did you take? I forget. You took a. I forget if you took. You take the train in. I forget. But
Wait, out here when I moved?
no, O'Hare when you were here a couple months ago.
Oh, you know what? I did. I did take the train, and that was the first time that I did that. That was pretty convenient. I mean, especially coming into town, like it's like early in
Yeah.
the morning. I landed at like 8 a.m. or something like that. It was a smooth ride on the blue line, and just came right into downtown, and I literally got to walk around, Chicago River for a little bit before I headed out to the burbs. I didn't realize it was the BMW Classic that weekend. Uh, Out in the south suburbs. I got on the metro train. I was like, there are a lot of white people heading to the south suburbs. I was like, this is strange because I'm going towards like like Sauk Village, like you know what I mean, like Dalton, like Calumet City, and I'm like, where are all these white people going? It's Olympia Fields for that
I think that's
PGA
where
thing.
I think Sophia lives in one of those things. I forget the name.
Sure, yeah,
Like a
sure.
southwest
That's a
southwest suburb. I can't think of the name.
Oh yeah, yeah. I realized 'cause I'm like looking at all the hats. I'm like Titleist, Titleist, Titleist. I'm like, what is going on? It's like, oh yeah, that course.
Either
That
golf's
golf course
going
been
on
out
or
there
it's a
forever.
clan meeting.
That golf course been out there forever. They built that way back in the day in Chicago. Like wealthy people, they used to take the train on the weekend out to the south suburbs and golf out there. They live on the south side of Chicago if you had money back in the day. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I just want to talk. No, so but it's funny. So when I took usually at airports, I guess when I came back, um, but getting if I always just take a regular cab if I have the money from the airport because it's 50
Here's that
bucks.
shopper. I'll be right back. All right. Here's that shopper.
Yep, sounds good.
Ralph, how are you? Good, thank you. All right. Yeah, it's like why not let somebody else do the shopping for me? I One funny thing about that, dude. One time I I ordered that Instacart, and I had a bunch of snack type shit like chips and cookies, and, which is kind of rare for me. But I had a sweet tooth at the moment, so I ordered that stuff. And I guess the person who got my order, it's like some, some like old Spanish, like some abuelita. She just took it upon herself to like switch out all my bullshit for like better stuff. Just like showed up with like it's no cookies, but it's like fruit and stuff. And she's just looking at me just like this is better for you. And I was just like, oh, okay. You changed that. Okay. And it was like, 'cause I was looking at the subs in the app. I'm like, this isn't even close. Not another kind of cookie. It's just like apple. It's like, oh. Then she came. It's like, ah, this is somebody's grandma. She laid down the law. She's like, no. So, but other than that, great experiences with letting other people do my shopping.
Yeah, I got into a small argument with a DoorDash driver. I guess it was like last Sunday. He started it,
They
not
eat
me.
your, he eat your fries.
No, it was like some Indian dude. So I ordered from like this Chinese place that sucked. And it was like a little bit farther than normal, so I was already tipping him like $7, and and he had two other stops. And I don't care about like if my food gets there on time, really, for the most part. But unless it's like a specific thing, like Popeye's chicken. But besides that, I don't really care. It's Chinese food. It's all shitty, anyways. And so he hands me the thing. I didn't say anything. And then he starts talking about tipping me more or tipping him more. I was like, I mean, I just grabbed it like, fuck you, and I left. But so I told Tim. So I told Tim the story right after because Tim would have been furious. Tim would have went back and changed the tip to 0. He would have contacted fucking DoorDash. It's like,
I've changed the tip before. Some girl delivered my groceries before. She had a big attitude. She was looking on the back side of the apartment and not the front, so she didn't see any apartment numbers. And she was back there. I didn't know she was back there. Otherwise, I would have got her. But I didn't know she was back there. So she's looking at apartment numbers, and I think she also saw my neighbor, and she was like going to ask her like which is the apartment for. So she's like, "Excuse me, excuse me." Now, what she didn't realize is my neighbor's completely deaf. So she probably was just like, hanging out her rugs or whatever, some shit, and minding her own business. But to her, is like this lady ignored, she's probably thinking she's racist white lady ignored me. She was so pissed off by the time she finally got to my door with the groceries. And she like threw them down. She had a lot of attitude. And she was like, why you didn't say the door was over here? And that time, I literally, no conversation with her. I was like, I'm sorry. And when she left, I definitely went back in and like changed it back to nothing. It was like,
yeah,
dude,
it is funny because a lot of the drivers here are like Eastern European, but they're white, so they show some fucking respect. So
whatever. The other thing I was going to mention to you is the Wendy's price surge follow up. It was like you mentioned to me during the week they went back on it already, and that's exactly what we were talking about. That's exactly what I was saying. You have the right to say you want to do it all you want to, and then people have the right to boycott you and tell you that they won't go to your place and that you can shove it. And they got so scared that they didn't even do it. They just backed out of it.
yeah, that
And
was my
I think,
argument.
well,
You,
no, if you remember correctly, and we recorded it, my whole point was that's the American process. Everything's going to go through the American. I remember because I made the argument about the people who didn't want to make the cake for the gay couple, and I was saying that's their right, and then everybody has their right to boycott them, and then they make them either go out of business or they fucking make the cake or not or
okay, yeah,
whatever.
but you were like, oh yeah, they could try it and see if it passes or fails, and I was like, well, that's not how this works. The thing is,
No, that is exactly
they
how it
were
works. They
putting
could have tried it if they wanted to, and it would have failed, and then they would have changed it.
my whole
Exactly
thing
what I
was
said.
my whole thing was putting up a big stink online, and then they didn't even try it out. So I mean, and I think maybe they weren't actually trying to do that. I don't know. They came out. I forget their statement that they put out, saying that whatever their initial statement was, it was mischaracterized. But I mean,
I
I
would
think
say
probably,
that too.
but I still
I
think
would
that's
say that.
probably going to happen. I could see Starbucks doing that for sure.
I
Um,
think they can do it if they want to. Like it's called a soft launch, dude. Like when you Oh, maybe we're thinking about doing this. Of course they're gonna fucking do it. It's a soft launch. That's like when you start dating some chick and then you don't like really show her on your Instagram, but you like show a picture of like dinner where it's like you show the menu or something, so like her hand is showing or something like that. That's the thing. Soft launch. This is all they're doing is soft launching. They know they want to do it, but I think the vitriol with which they were met is great, and that's how things should get solved. That's America. It's not like let's make a law to say they can't do it. Was my point? Is like that's stupid. Let's let it play out.
It's
All
funny
right.
with McDonald's. So out in Bolingbrook, McDonald's actually opened. What's it called?
Oh, that new
McCosmo.
thing. What is it called? That what?
It's like McCosmo.
You're right. It's like McCosmos or something, right? It's like all
Yeah, it's
the
just like they have a bunch
it's
of
like the
drinks.
shittier fast food, like the shittier microwavier fast food.
No, it's like drinks. So it's kind of like trying to compete with Starbucks, and then
It's like chicken bite nuggets and drinks. You're right.
yeah, and then little finger foods. I think they have like pretzels. Um, yeah, it's just like little finger foods, and the whole thing's drinks. But when it opened, I think it was just back in the fall. Yeah, people
You
were
couldn't even
flying
get in the
in from
door.
like
Yeah.
people were flying like YouTubers were flying in from like England to go wait in line at like 6 in the morning in Bolingbrook. Like, all right.
Which is hilarious when you think about bowling, bro.
Yeah, but it makes sense.
Talk
It's a
about a
good
town
place.
that really doesn't want you there, to be quite honest.
Yeah, but I mean, it's off the highway or whatever, so it makes sense. I thought it was kind of interesting because um,
What an
having lived
interesting place.
in, yeah, I mean, having lived in Central Florida, which is always like a big test market for like fast food stuff. It's always like Central Florida and then like Southern Ohio and parts of Indiana. It's
I
like
wonder why.
and well, a lot of fast food came out of there. I think that's where Wendy's is from. I think that's where Papa John's, like a bunch of shit's come out of there. No, because even when I was in Central Florida, they had a Del Taco, and I mean, there's
Del
like no
Taco's
Del
good.
Tacos outside California. So, although
We had, we
I saw the other day on Facebook was a picture of because I like Jack in the Box. It's like I like their tacos, and then and their egg rolls,
I can't
and it'd
eat
be
any
like
fast food. Terrible food.
uh, so I used to, their egg rolls are great because everything's like deep fried to order, so it's always like nice and greasy. It's like perfect,
That sounds terrible.
and
I
it's
mean, I would
Jack in the
eat it
Box.
for sure.
I
I
like
would eat
Jack
a
in the
lot of
Box.
fast food. Yeah,
And so, like the
I would try
tacos are
it.
like
There's
nice.
one near me. Maybe I should give them a try. I bet you they
Yeah,
have
and
good breakfast.
the tacos are like I don't know what they cost now, but they used to be 99 cents when I was there. Everything there was like everything used to be like $1 there, but I mean it's obviously
I think it
just
still
as
is.
good.
That's why I was like mortified when I passed by. I was like, "Oh God, what are they feeding me for $1? Can't be
And it
meat."
well, I wouldn't get the hamburger, but
To be clear,
anything there deep fried is going to be good because the tacos are deep fried, I think as well. And so it'd be like $2. Anyways, but there used to be one here in Chicago. Like there used to be. I guess I kind of forgot about that because they went through a scandal in like the early '90s with like food poisoning and stuff. And
yeah,
so I
dude,
was
there's
looking
a
at a
lot of that
picture.
going on. Do you remember? I don't
There
know
would
if
have
you
been one of
remember
those.
Hardee's had that too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the Hardee's one.
In, in the early night, oh yeah, dude, they fell off big time in Illinois because of that food poisoning shit. Hardee's,
I
oh
remember
dude, they went down the drain.
there's one that supposedly they're building in. The sign's been there forever. There's like a gas station like on Chicago Avenue, like across the river, and it's just
Yeah.
like it just says Hardee's coming soon, but it's been like that since I've been here.
Well, hopefully
Um,
not for you guys.
well, I used to go to Carl's Jr., which is like the same company. It's just like
But that
less on
Carl's
the
Jr. is a
street.
lot better than Hardee's, though. Hardee's is more like akin to
No, it's the same. It's the same company.
Arby's. Hardee's is like Arby's.
No, it's not. Dude, Hardee's is the same company as Carl's Jr. West of the Mississippi, it's called Carl's Jr. East of the Mississippi, it's
It's
called Hardee's.
it.
It's the same restaurant. maybe it used to be different, but it has not been different in the last 20 years.
I mean, I don't eat a lot of fast foods. I couldn't say for sure, but anyhow,
And I don't remember there being a Carl's Jr. I don't remember ever seeing Carl. I only saw Carl's Jr. when I was in Colorado. I don't even remember. I don't remember ever seeing a Carl's Jr. in Southern California. I don't think.
this one 15 minutes for me, 10 minutes for me maybe. But the
Where?
problem is it's so it's in Culver City, but the problem is it's right next to a really good pastrami shop. So I just don't know why in God's green earth, if you got $10 to spend over here, you want to go across the street to the pastrami shop over there. Like it's literally like hand shaved,
Did you not see their
straight up
ads?
old.
Did you not see their ads with Paris Hilton?
I mean, that's the funny thing about Southern California. They have everything here, but it's like given the choices, it's like I don't know why you would go to some of this stuff. But anywho, dude, New York City sues TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, plus more apps for their role in nationwide mental health crisis. Well, no, you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's silly. I mean, we know some of these
I don't
things
think
are
they
going
can
to.
actually win that lawsuit, but I don't have a problem with it. It's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we live in an Instagram world. Chicks wake up
Well,
every day
I'm
and
not
they
on
look.
Instagram.
Yeah, well, that's beside the fact that most people are though, John. And that's what's driving people's perceptions of themselves though. And that comes with a lot of personal responsibility. All these fake what do you call them, influencers and shit like that, and girls like like
Well, sue the
photoshopping their
sue the
body and their
influencers.
photos and
I'm
stuff.
for that. Sue the
Like
influencers. I'm 100% for that.
like oh, that's actually not a bad idea. Actually, I like that. That's why I was saying I don't think they can win this. Like you can't win something like that against those platforms. They just offer the platform to promote free speech. That's an easy thing to get out of court with. But those particular influencers, I think you're right. Like, and they should sue them out of existence. I like the story and the fact that, again, just like we were talking about with the health shit, it's the beginning of trying to do better. Is that going to work? Hell no. And what's the next solution? Probably what you just said.
Uh, well, I mean, I was joking about suing influencers, but Florida's trying to do a
I'm
similar
not.
thing.
I'm not.
Florida's trying to do a similar thing with. I don't even know. DeSantis actually might have signed the law, but I don't know how it's going to work. They essentially want to make it illegal for kids under the age of like 16 to be on social media, but
I
there's
don't know how
no
you can
real
police that.
mechanisms. There's no way to like how are you going to enforce that, and a lot of it's
I
just
don't
like
know.
pandering, I guess. It was just like some silly Florida shit because you can't really do it. I guess you can kind of restrict, well, like so for gambling or whatever. So obviously those sites are restricted in certain states and all that. But like social media, it's not like social media is banned in Florida, but like there's just so many ways to work around it and all that. Um, I thought it was kind of funny because it's also like kind of what China does, where like you can only use it for like so many hours a day, and they're obviously like the types of content on Chinese TikTok is like science and shit. It's not like kids dancing. I don't think. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of funny because DeSantis is always
I think
railing on
TikTok's a spy tool.
that.
I think it's a Chinese spy tool. TikTok. I'm pretty sure you got the app
These are
open.
all spy tools.
I agree, but that's the Chinese one.
Yeah, but they're the most open. I mean,
My
they
dad
don't
was
have.
going to who?
They're gonna have the TikTok. It's gonna be like TikTok doesn't give a fuck what the U.S.
I
government.
know.
So
I was being
you'll have
facetious.
like
I
a
know they don't give a fuck.
so
I know
TikTok.
that.
So when the U.S. government goes to TikTok and be like, "Well, we want our um, you know, security people or intelligence in there," TikTok's just like, okay. At least like
Yeah, no,
Twitter
I
puts up
know.
a little bit
Yeah.
of a fight, Facebook puts up a little fight, but what does TikTok care?
We don't have commodities anymore. We are the commodity. Like the American is the commodity. Our data, our consumption, we are the commodity. Of course, what you're saying is 100% true. They don't give a shit. That's all we have. And they got to bust us down for like everything they can get. So, yes, your data, what you thinking, what you want to buy, where you want to go, they want to sell that. And in turn, though, I think the other part of that, which we touched on last time too, is you got to do everything you can to make Americans artificially better consumers. Like we are the most educated, yet the most depressed millennials. Like we got so much fucking debt. And the way we work as a society now, you need Americans to buy shit. I don't think it's a problem to give people extra money to buy shit every month just because the system wouldn't work if they saved it. That would be bad for us. But I am pretty sure Americans ain't gonna save shit. They just gonna buy those shoes or that video game or whatever. And I think that's actually really fucking good for us. That's the best thing you can be doing as an
I,
American is buying
yeah,
shit.
but a lot of like empty consumerism, I don't think is actually
Oh, I
good.
agree with you. It's fucking huge anti consumerism. Yeah. That's what that's our life though. Like they've taken away like we don't make US steel. You know what I mean? Like we're not pumping out shit tons of cars from Detroit and shipping them over to Japan. Like it's not happening.
We make a lot
We
of
can
cars in
consume. What's
We
that?
make a lot of we make a lot of cars. They're
We
just
still
not.
do make a lot of cars, but we don't make as many as we used to, and the amount of American manufacturers has certainly shrunk. You know, like you don't have,
Well,
you're
the
not.
supply,
There's no
yeah, but the
Dodges, there's no Oldsmobiles. You know,
yeah, but
Pontiacs.
those
All
brands were terrible. Yeah, but if you buy a Nissan, whatever, it's made in Kentucky. And then if
no,
you
no.
buy a
I well,
if you
I
buy a
mean, yeah,
Ford
to some
hatchback in
well, to some
England, it's
degree, yeah,
made
to
somewhere in
some
England or maybe
well, to
Germany.
some degree, correct, right, right, right. But the cost of all of that is afforded onto the worker. I still do feel because they, if the company were American trying to do business there, I think it would be a little more affordable. They would have to pay certain fees, and so that could be passed on to the working class. Would it? I don't know, but it could be. Is the point? Also, to the
Well,
point, you're right. We still make cars. I'm not saying we don't make cars, but I don't think you would argue with me that
we
in years
assemble them.
past, like in the 80s, there was like a lot more American manufacturers, which just mean American jobs. I don't care they were shitty cars. Like, you know, it was like Detroit was a whole town built off making cars. And Detroit's a ghost town now. This is a ghost town.
Well, they spent a lot of time making shitty cars, which wasn't good. And then they're just old companies. I mean, they're making the Rivian. Yeah, the Rivian. Remember the old Ford factory outside Chicago? Um, that's
The
where they're
old
building.
Ford factory outside of Chicago. Are you talking about like in the south suburbs?
No, I think it's
Because I only know
I
the
think
one in
it's actually
Chicago Heights.
what? I don't know
I
the
only know
Ford
the one.
factory in Chicago. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm
only know
sure
the
you're
one in
probably
Chicago Heights, like that. But that's like really far south suburbs. Like I don't know. Like I would be surprised to me if you known about that. But in Chicago Heights, there's a Ford. Like they make
well,
bodies
both
and
of them know
everything. Like
about
they
it.
assemble there.
Yeah. Okay. Um. So what about Puff Daddy?
I honestly think the music industry is very seedy in general. I believe all this shit coming out. I believe everything that Cassie alleges. I believe you know the mother, his kids, the woman that passed away, Kim Porter, I think was her name. I believe it's something to do with that. I believe everything that these people are saying, everything Usher is saying about the wild stuff he saw when he was with him. I do think that there is, some sinister sexuality going on there. And you know how it feels when the system turns on somebody and they've decided, like, we'll offer you up like a lamb, like you can go. And it just feels like with all this coming out, it's going to be more of that for him. But as a side note to all that, I really do believe, for me personally, as a hip hop fan, the most damning thing that I think that's come to light to all this for me is like there's almost categorically like he probably had Tupac killed. I don't see a lot of other recourse for what would have happened. The stuff that is laid out from the other informants and everything, like the dates, the times, everything, all of it makes so much sense, dude, that it's very hard to say he did it. So I think that for me sucks ass to have that realization. And it just crystallizes because like we grew up in this era of like we don't know who shot Pac, and it was like he might still be alive, and it was like we don't know who shot Big. It's so funny to me to be almost 40 years old to be 2024, and I could just turn on A&E and watch a documentary, and in 2 hours last week they're like, nah, this is exactly what happened. This is what the police found out. This is why we know this is true. This is everybody had everything to do with it. I think it's crazy, and
Well,
he,
didn't they just
you know,
arrest the guy for his murder like a couple months ago because he wrote it in his book like 5 years ago?
yeah, he'd been working with the LAPD, that dude you're talking about. And the reason why, so they got it out of him, but the LAPD
Well, yeah, he
didn't
wrote it in his
prosecute.
book. I mean, that's why it all started. He like literally
Right,
put
because
it
they
in his
didn't
book.
prosecute him. Right, because they didn't care to prosecute it. Because at the time they weren't trying to solve the murder of Tupac. The LAPD was trying to get off of that lawsuit that the family was putting up against them, the Biggie Smalls lawsuit. So the reason that they solved the Pac case was because it was attached to the Biggie case. They had to solve the Biggie case in order to get the city off of the lawsuit because Biggie Smalls' mom and his family was suing LA for big fucking money. So in the
Meanwhile, they never
process of
solved that
proving,
case.
they
They
did
didn't
solve
solve the
that
Biggie
case,
case.
and they did. Yes, they
What?
did. And in the process of and in the process of solving that case, they solved the Tupac case because the two were connected. That's how they
When?
officially. You could go look up the dates. I'm not sure, but but Suge Knight paid the dude to kill Biggie, and that dude is dead. That dude died. They never like got the dude to prosecute him. The shooter was actually killed in another shootout some years after that. But they found the woman that like ferried the payments for Suge to the dude. How much he was getting paid. FBI, not FBI, LAPD found her, shook her down, got the info from her, got it corroborated that way. But the dude was paid so much money and skipped town or whatever, but he still got found. So they all this stuff was corroborated, and like I was saying, once LA found out that okay, the police didn't kill him, have anything to do with it, and they could prove that definitively in court, they won the lawsuit, so they beat the lawsuit, and then they dropped the case. The officers involved were trying to like get the murder solved, and from what they were told or what they tell people, what's publicly known from them is like we were told to let this go. Like the powers that be, like it's too high up. There's too much money involved. Like it's just not going to work. So LA never prosecuted that, even though it's fully understood that the Tupac murder was solved. That Puffy paid Los Angeles Crips to kill him, and they did, and they know the terms of payment and all that and where it was established and all that shit. And because he did that and they did that, Suge Knight retaliated and killed Biggie Smalls. LAPD was able to prove that. The city
I
was
don't see any
cleared.
of that. I don't see any of that. No one proved. It says here Biggie Smollett has not been solved. The case remains officially unsolved, despite a good amount of evidence being found.
That's what I just told you.
Okay, no,
That
but
the
you're
case
saying it's
remains
solved. I'm,
officially unsolved. The case remains official. I didn't say anything different than that. The case
well,
remains
you kept on
officially
saying solved
unsolved.
because they're linked and stuff like that. I know they're linked.
The
Um,
case remains officially unsolved. Is exactly what I just said. I just laid out the reason why. They weren't. There was no effort to solve the case. The investigations were about whether the LAPD had anything to do with his murder or not, because that's what the lawsuits were about. You gotta understand what we're really talking about here. But I don't think we need to go down that rabbit hole for sure. But yeah, Puffy's a scumbag. I think he's a scumbag. Is what this is all pointing to. I mean, is there somebody that cannot imagine that? I mean, maybe he isn't, but I imagine it. I can see it. Sure, why not?
well,
Do I think he's
music's just gay, but
I think he's done all sexual shit they're talking about with all these. I don't doubt any of it. I
Tupac,
don't doubt it.
Tupac was definitely gay, and then what's the other guy that died of AIDS?
I don't know if Tupac was gay, but he did talk about
Yeah,
what's his name
yeah.
coming on to him. You can't tell if you're gonna tell me that I don't have proof that the murders were solved, then we're definitely not gonna say here that he was gay for sure, because that's definitely
Right,
way
no,
more fucking far fetched than what I was saying.
I sucked his dick once. Does that count?
But first hand knowledge. But he did say Quincy Jones tried to come on to him, and he did
Dude, it's
bless
show
him.
business. I mean, that's why, like, you've been living in LA long enough. Like, I mean,
Listen, I would assume that your appetites, get fed pretty easily, so it's easy for me to imagine that your appetite grows if you're a certain person. Like Vince McMahon, he's an 80-year-old billionaire. Like I read the documents or whatever, the court documents, and it's like, yeah, can you imagine what it takes to get that dude up? Like, yeah, he probably crapped all over that girl, which is disgusting, but that's the nature of the
yeah, I
people we
don't know
talk
about
about.
that, but
Oh, that
you
shit was in the lawsuit, bro. No, she's not
okay,
lying
but
about
that's
it.
what her lawyers say. I mean, I don't give it. I mean, that's what her lawyers say. So,
Did you even
you
read
know,
it? Are you gonna just defend something you didn't read? Read it first. We can talk about it next time. Read it first. It's fucking bad. Like that's the reason why you're not hearing anything else about it. So read it first. We'll talk about it next time.
and I mean, obviously, the WWE's big sex scandal was obviously in the early '90s with Pat Patterson and all that stuff because the accusation at that time was that you had to do gay stuff with a couple of people at WWE, to get on TV.
That's not even bigger than the shit with the referee woman in the '80s. Vince raped her in the fucking limousine
We
coming
all
from
know
one of
he's
the
raped a
shows.
lot of
at
women.
MSG. What?
We all know he's raped a lot of women. First of all, you could do that in the '80s.
Anywho, what else you got for me?
You want to do crypto or you want to do sovereign citizens?
Oh my god! Don't say crypto shit to me. Almost made me throw up on my phone the other day when you typed that. But my crypto's booming. Don't fucking talk like that. Don't be one of those
It is
fucking guys.
booming.
Yeah, don't be one of
Well,
those
not right now.
guys.
It's actually dropped a lot today, but yeah, it's kind of funny.
Sovereign shit. That's dumb. These people think
So
they're smart because they're not. It's stupid. It's fucking. These are the people, right? They get pulled over with no driver's license. I'm a traveler, not a driver. I don't want to. All that is just real telltale that this is a person who does not understand minimal shit. Like you had probably a dislike for school in a way that you felt like, well, if I liked it, I could be better at this, but I don't like it. No, I don't think you could have been better at it because these people manipulate rules and laws that like for what reason do you have you talking about you don't want to get a driver's license because you don't want to be in some database? What do you think your phone is? What do you think everything is? You're already in some database. Like it's usually some person that like can't get a license or something. I don't know, maybe I'm misinformed, but their whole platform seems to be little minute fucking arguments that really like I like what is the point, dude? Like what is the point? Like I get it, like, but what is the point of, so you don't want to pay a registration fee or whatever? Like there's better ways to go about that. Like there's literally better ways to go about that. Like if enough people made a fucking fuss, you get a referendum put on your, like we had the primary today in California, you could get a referendum, yes or no, registration fees forever. That's the type of thing that you do, not this whole like by my right I like I don't know. And I think people are gonna get themselves in trouble with the police physically, be the wrong color and pull that shit off.
so that was what I have written down because I think I texted you a couple weeks ago. The sovereign citizen shit. It's always like I always thought it was like a very white thing. You're like from Michigan or Nebraska, and I'm not really that familiar. The sovereign every time I watch these videos, I'm not even quite sure what they're arguing. Or no, it's just that the law doesn't apply to them and all this. Okay.
But it's always like some minute point to where it's like, what to what end are you making this argument? What is this? It's always like something really small. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get
I
it.
know, but it is. I mean, I think we both kind of agree with the idea, though, that like the government doesn't have like control over you, and so it just went down this kind of thing or this movement. Because I remember hearing about it. I don't think I was in high school, maybe in college, or maybe when it was late two
But the
thousands.
people who think that, I think you're right. The people who think that though vote for elected officials who control them.
I bet these guys don't vote. Um,
Even
but
worse.
no,
Even
no. So it's
worse.
funny. No, so
Even
the other day,
worse.
so whatever. So a couple weeks ago, I saw. Yeah, it was like a black guy, a black sovereign citizen. I texted you because I was so excited because I've never seen it before. I thought it was because I mean all this like arguing about that's a very white thing to do, isn't it?
No,
Arguing over like a
John,
little minutia with
Greg's
the federal
oldest
government.
son, Edward, who I'm pretty sure you met, but Greg's oldest son, Edward, he's I didn't know the term then, but he is certainly what you would call a sovereign citizen. Now, do you
Oh, really?
know Fox News Chicago? They did a story on him, dude. You know he was in jail for the longest time because he got caught with a concealed weapon and no permit for it in Chicago, and he claimed it was his right as an American to have that. And
Well, and
dude,
the Supreme Court actually did rule that you can have a concealed weapon in Chicago now.
he
So
went to
the court
jail
gave you
over
the right.
that, and he sat in jail. And I remember like this is like a good deal of the time we lived with Greg. And I remember him like trying to reason with him, like say what they want you to say and get out of this. He wouldn't do it. So that was my. So I know it was surprising when you mentioned it to you, but I think I was kind of like, oh, like what? Why is that new to you? Because I can always just remember Ed and always thinking about that, and then I think about he had a younger son, Tony, too, who's the same way. Tony introduced me to what's the dude's name? Alex Jones. Can you
Yeah.
believe that? Greg's son Tony introduced me to Alex Jones. And every time he would come from Michigan, he would like bring his latest preachings, from
Oh
that.
yeah,
So
goddamn Michigan.
yeah, yeah. So I've actually been very, I guess, inundated with like this minority people. But I didn't. That's interesting, John. I'm glad you brought it up last time because I didn't realize it was such a like a sort of a new concept for you. Because in my background, it's like seeing white people be
Well, I've
that
known
way was
about
a
for like
newer thing.
15 years, or over 15 years. I think it was in college, 2006, almost 20 years. No, but it's funny because okay, yeah, but when I watch videos of this shit on YouTube, it's always a white guy. It's the same way with like who's like impersonating cops. It's like always a white guy, and sometimes a black guy, but usually a white guy. And then the
Usually,
other
it's
day,
right.
because I just went down that rabbit hole for like like a week, but now like YouTube wants to recommend some stuff. Anyway, so it came up, and I think it is kind of interesting. But so the other day, this is why I fucking wrote it down. Um, YouTube recommended me a video, and it was an American tourist in London pulling the same shit on some cop, and it's like a lady London cop. They don't even think they have guns, and she's just being like trying to reason with this guy, and like just can't believe what he's saying. It's like the funniest thing. See, that'd be a good thing for the clip. If we want to do like a clip, we could show that because she's just like the best videos. So like in Michigan, like the cops already know, like or in certain states where this is like really popular. I think it's mostly in the Midwest, but
Yeah,
um,
they already know you're gonna play your little game, and they're like,
yeah.
fine. You want to do word jujitsu? I'll do word jujitsu with you. So what are you doing? Are you traveling down the road? Or are you driving down the
Yeah. But this is really funny.
road?
But
Yeah,
let me
no,
guess.
I've
So like,
I've seen a lot of those videos this past week. No, I am traveling down this road. Yeah, but you're driving, right? But you're driving down this road in this city right now. I like that
yeah,
shit. But you're right. I guess over there they'll probably be like, what is wrong with this person? What is the major malfunction here?
yeah, it's just some crazy American shit. And second of all, you're not even in America, so it's not. Anyways, like but no, but it's funny because I also like I do like what's his name? Long Island Audit. He's like a free First Amendment speechwriter. So he just kind of goes to
Yeah.
like cop stations. He actually had a lawsuit here in Chicago
Oh, actually, I
against.
think I did see that. Yeah, yeah. It's always, I always, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. Why don't you just go get
Because the
your
cops,
supervisor for me, bud?
yeah, because the cops don't know anybody's. They don't know the law. They don't know any of this shit. And so it's
They are
just
all
like,
the same person. They are all the same person. They're all getting revenge for high school. Each and every cop. It did not go well, and we're all gonna fucking pay now.
yeah, it's like crazy. They had actually my dad was telling me when he was here, whenever that was last weekend. No, so they because they go to the beach obviously in Florida, and I think I think it was Daytona. There was just like a woman like sleeping, like sunbathing, at the beach, and a cop on a fucking SUV ran her over and killed her.
Oh
No
my
foul
god,
charge. Yeah, ran over like her head, and it was like nothing. The crime of
Florida's
sleeping
wild,
on a
bro.
beach.
Florida's wild, wild, man. What else you
Yeah.
got for me?
Um. Yeah, it's good to laugh on this show, Ralph. So you can laugh at my jokes, even if they're not that funny. Uh,
I'm doing my best.
and oh yeah, so this caught me out of the blue. A little bit of sports. Um, yeah, Wheeler signed an extension with the Phillies for 3 years,
A lot of
126
money.
million.
A lot of money. Yeah, with the way these pitchers go down, I think that's
Yeah,
a lot of money.
but now I think about it, because like he's one of those guys that like I'd never play because his price range. I always feel like he's like one of those pitchers. It's like 8,700, like that. He's just one of those guys that like I'd rather get someone for
You just
fifty
want
seven
more
hundred.
upside for that price. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But you know what he is? He's a piece that
but
you need to win
he's
a
always
World
healthy,
Series.
right? I don't remember getting injured
Yeah,
much.
right. Well, you need somebody like him. Like he's not blowing dudes away, but he also doesn't get blown out the water that much. Like I don't think they can win a World Series without him. It's smart from that perspective. Like even if he's your second or your third or whatever,
Yeah, isn't he the
he's a
third pitch? I guess.
yeah, he's a
Yeah.
third, and I think that's probably the perfect slot, and that's good. I think that's good, but it also shows that they think they can win in the next 3 years. And I thought that after last year they might be the win out of the sails a little bit because that's 2 tough years in a row where they were knocking on the door 2 times and got denied. But I see now that signing through them is a commitment from Philly's organization to say we're going to get this ring and we're going to do this like with these guys here. And so you got Harper moving over the first. That's a longevity thing. This dude wants to be there until he's 42, 43. And if he can keep producing at
Yeah, because he's
first,
got to
like,
be old too. That's exactly. I feel like he's been
yeah,
there forever.
with the DH and the NL now, like it just makes sense. I'm impressed with them with what they put together and how they are managing it because it's easy to build up a championship team, but staying afloat when you don't win, like that's hard. Like almost winning and not winning because you almost got to win at some point to pay it off. Like if you win the World Series, you bring back all that positive money, then you right side a lot of what you did to get there. Or at least you justify it, and then you guys can be shitty for a year after that, 2 years after that, whatever you want to, because at least you got the ring. But to not win and to have to be back there knocking on the door every year, that's really hard. And the Phillies are doing a very, very good job right now of staying in the conversation. I think Philadelphia in general right now, like just the sports teams in Philadelphia, year over year, they are fine. The Flyers could be a little bit better, but they do what they can. The Sixers are fine year over year. The Eagles are great year over year. Like it's a good sports town, and all those stadiums right there together like that. I think Philadelphia is like it's sports mecca, bro. Like it ain't New York, it's Philadelphia on the East Coast right now. If the Phillies can win this thing, so I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for that deal. It was a good deal.
As long as the Dodgers don't win.
Well,
I'm happy.
we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
Yeah, they're gonna lose.
I think Robertson's the problem. I'm not a I'm not a huge fan.
Always
I just
blame
think
the black man.
I
When
think I
old
think
white
there's
dude.
some I think managing in the playoffs is not his strong suit. Like his rotation order, like even mid game and stuff like that, guys he's pulling, how long he lets guys go, how short he pulls guys. Like it's him. It's him. He's the issue.
Maybe look at Ozzie Guillen.
Now if they want to win, they won't.
I
Him
don't
to
know.
the Angels, that makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I guess the
Because Trout
Dodgers actually. It's just kind
Dodgers
of
are
funny
what?
though. It's just kind of funny that a lot of these people are kind of old now because I was like, even Joe Madden, because obviously when he went to the Angels, um,
They're
that was
very
when
old men.
they had Mike
Yeah.
Trout, they were getting Shohei Ohtani. They spent all that money on that. What's his name that sucked from the Nationals, or he was always hurt. Who was that?
Giolito to Boston this year. I don't know if you saw today. He might have to have season ending surgery.
Who?
Giolito?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's he play for now? Because I don't. The Sox didn't even.
Boston. Boston.
Oh, oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. I don't even think he's gonna he won't even make it to opening day. I think he's on the shelf.
Well, yeah. I mean, the White Sox are going to be terrible.
Oh, they're gonna be worse than terrible. I'm gonna see them in spring training in 2 weeks and enjoy that for what it is. Try to have a good time. And
Oh yeah. What is he? Yeah, Chapman signed. I mean, there's not that many people like left.
it
They're
doesn't
coming
matter.
in.
They weren't signing anybody when they had a chance anyway. This is going to be a real bad team. I'll struggle to watch 162, but I'll get it done. I'll get it done.
I will be watching zero, but I will try to go to a Cubs game this summer.
I'll
How'd
watch
you go?
100 Cup games for sure. Just like last
Oh
year,
yeah.
I'll watch 100 Cup games.
I pretty much haven't watched a Cubs game since they won the World Series. But
Crazy
yeah.
time to be living there.
Well, yeah. I mean, all these Chicago teams suck. They don't. I
Bulls
mean,
are
the Bulls are
terrible.
okay. If
No, they're
Lonzo
terrible.
Ball didn't
I'm
get
watching them every
hurt,
night. They're bad. They're bad.
the Bulls will make the playoffs.
No, they won't.
Yeah, they will. They made the
No, they
playoffs
won't.
last
They're not going to make the playoffs. They're out of it right now, and it's pretty tough. I don't
year. No, they're
necessarily
not.
know if
They're
they're
in
going
like
to.
the seventh seed. They're gonna get knocked out in the first round.
Well, that's for sure. If they do make it, it's just going to be a play-in game that they lose, dude. Don't. There's no expectation besides that.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, compared to the other Chicago sports teams, we are the opposite of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, it's um. I mean, the Bears. It's so funny. Because obviously they want to draft that guy. Where is he from? USC.
Yeah,
So the Bears had the number one pick. Yeah. So what do you think about this? Bears having a number one pick. What do you think they should do?
draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Keep Justin Fields. Like, don't be stupid. There's not that many good quarterbacks in the league, and you got a dude that has actual raw talent. And to hear about the possibility that you're going to trade him to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a mediocre first round pick and Deontay Johnson, it's so bad it sounds right for them. But I would hope they don't do that. Just keep your pick, Marvin Harrison Jr., and then you go get some other pieces there too. I think we got more than we need. If you get rid of him, meaning him, Justin Fields, now you're adding back to the what we need part. We already have one of the things we need. Don't do it. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. But at the same time, you want to give the management the opportunity to do their job, earn their money, trust that they have a plan that I don't know about, and maybe it'll go well. But I mean, man, it's hard. It's really hard watching
Okay,
what you
yeah,
think
no,
is
I agree.
possible,
Yeah, I agree.
you know?
I agree because you already have a player that you know Fields could play in the NFL. You
Yeah,
know,
so it's
so
like why like when you have teams starting fucking Ritter, why are you gonna take the chance that you end up as one of those teams?
it
You
was
know
one
what
of
I
those
mean?
things.
There's a lot of trash QBs that got to play this year, and I don't know why you expose yourself to that.
It was one of those things too where it's funny because I was like, right away, I was like, okay, well, whatever the right answer is, the Bears are going to do the opposite.
Yeah, that's
But then
historically what they do.
yeah, but then I went online and people are already making that joke a million times. So I was like, oh, I guess it wasn't that clever. Yeah, I know, but it's just the guy can play. Um, the league's different now, anyways. I always see stuff like stats for like the first couple of years of Michael Vick and Fields in the NFL. It's like the same stats. And Michael Vick was good. I mean, he didn't like dogs that much, but he was a good player.
Yeah, I think if they trade him away, they have not shown themselves to be able to be good assessors of talent. So you have talent, you want to trade him away for more picks, so you could try to pick talent, but you're not good at picking talent. So if they trade him away, you get what you deserve. But hopefully they're smart enough to see what I see, which is just get Marvin Harrison Jr. so you have a good other receiver because it's not Mooney. And I like Mooney. I'm saying I went to Tulane. I'm saying that as a fellow Tulane Green Wave. Roll Wave. I love Mooney. I love that it's him. He has a legacy. It's him and Forte too. Those are the Tulane Green Wave players that I know for sure play for the Bears. So I like that. But at the end of the day, he is not a number two receiver. He needs to go somewhere else, like Kansas City or something, with less pressure, and he could just have a defined role that doesn't mean as much. And then we could just use that pick to slot in MHJ and have a potent offense, have an offense that can actually block and pass and run and not be deficient because tight
Yeah,
end we're
I just
fine
think
too.
I just always think it's interesting too because then the argument comes up being, okay, well, if you pass on whoever this USC quarterback is, and then he goes to another team and wins a Super Bowl, being like that was the argument they made about like Mahomes when the Bears was that the year I guess the Bears drafted
Yeah, but
Trubinsky.
that's
They
different
took
though because
Matt
they
Mahomes.
had to take somebody in the draft. Like now you have a quarterback, you don't have to take that other
But what I'm
person. I
saying
think
is,
that's a little
it's
different.
not like if Mahomes came to Chicago, he would have won a couple Super Bowls because the team still sucks. So he just
Well,
got
that's true too. Yeah.
so like he was able to go to Kansas City, and they seem to have a very good organization.
Putting him with
They
Andy
brought
Reid, you're right. Because Reid,
yeah, they brought Andy
let's face
Reid.
it, he wasn't a winner before then either. He didn't win with McNabb either, but he had a good system. They were close. So I
And he
think
went
you're
to the
right. You put
playoff.
the right
He
guy.
went to the Super
Yep.
Bowl.
Yep.
But so like
Yep. So you
Mahomes in
give him
Chicago,
a good talent. Yep. And they were able to figure it out. But you're right. If you would have put Mahomes on the Redskins, you can't just fucking say he beat Mahomes because they're the Redskins. I trust them to mess your career up. I think RG3 could have been a better player if he was not
I
drafted by the
think
Redskins.
um I guess he just had that ankle injury. I think that was kind of it. I think that
They rushed him
ankle injury.
back after that because they thought he was a franchise QB, and I don't think they really gave a shit how his ankle was going to be after that or not. And I think it's like there was not this. He was shell
Yeah, because
shocked too. It's not great.
you can always just draft a new guy, and then they get out of
Yeah,
some of the money
yeah,
they owe
and they
him.
expect to be bad enough to do that every year too. You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why football is such a tough sport. Like that. When I lived here, like a million years ago, I lived. I forget whatever north of Millennium Park. One of the guys that was in that building, he played in the NFL for like 3 years um, for Minnesota. But it's like, yeah, 3 years. That's like a long fucking NFL career. And he was a big fucking. I think he was a defensive lineman. And yeah, 3 years. and that's it. And
Yeah, most
then,
of those guys don't get
he got
that. Yeah.
drafted late, so he didn't really make that much money. I don't know how much that condo would have cost. I mean, I didn't own the, but like they had a bunch of condos in that building as well that were probably selling for like $600,000 or something. But I mean, how much was he possibly making a year if you're late in the draft? And this is also before, obviously, it's different now. But I mean, you have 3 years to make
Probably like
eight
seven
hundred
eighty
thousand
k,
dollars a year.
100K at the minimum. Like if you're like you know not drafted or drafted like last round or some
No, he was
shit. Like
drafted. No, no, it's more than a hundred
okay, so
k.
if you're drafted, you got a little bit more money than that. Yeah. So he probably 300
Yeah, but
k,
eight
200
hundred
k,
thousand. So let's say he's making 800,000 a year. So after
which
taxes,
is a high estimate. I think at the most it would have been like 400,000.
you might be right. You might be right. Um, okay, so after taxes, and your agents and all, and manager and all that shit. I
150,
mean,
150.
yeah, I bring it on. I was going to say 175, but you're probably more accurate at 150. And yeah, and you got 3 years of that. That's it. So
Right.
that'd be that's
So
a
you
lot
got
of money. But
450. So you got 450, but that's like it though. Like like that's it. That's why these dudes go back home where they were the big college star, right? And you're going to be the salesperson at the Chevy dealer now because you're going to get all the sales because you were a popular player and everybody liked you, and now they want to buy their fucking Ford from you or your Chevy from you, right? And so you're going to go back to that town, put your feet up on your desk, be the best salesperson that Ford dealership has ever had, and you're never going to have to do anything because people are going to line up to buy a car from. We used to watch you all the time when we were growing up. And it's like stupid little regional
yeah,
commercials and shit like that, and that's how they live. That's how they live, and
but
you get the
yeah,
medical
if
insurance
you're
through
just
the
like
pension.
yeah, but if you're just like I guess, but if you're just like a lineman, I guess some of it.
Oh,
But yeah,
dude, even so, all those guys were the biggest deal in their town. All those guys were the best person on their team ever to play it. All those guys broke out all the records in high school all the time. They're all big name when they go back home. All of them. Don't matter if you just D lineman or O lineman. Those big names. Those are big names.
um, yeah. I mean, obviously, this whole sports thing is so much different now than it used to be, even like compared to 10 years ago.
Well,
Um,
NIL is very different.
um, just how people manage their money and all that stuff, and there's a lot more money at stake than there used to be, and so it's just it's a lot different than sports were 20 years ago. But
They should give Reggie Bush his Heisman Trophy back. I think the last two Heisman Trophy winners combined make $12 million their Heisman years. So
oh, really?
they took his. They took his for like a Chevy Tahoe or something. I don't know. Like, just give
Yeah.
that dude. Give that dude his thing back.
Yeah, no, it's good they changed all that. Um, I just have two more things. I was saving the politics for last, and they're not really even politics, but just seeing if you know about this or what do you think? George Galloway, an MP from England, won his election the other day, and yeah, the British media hates George Galloway. He'd already been an MP for like 30 years. I don't know if you know who he is. He's like a Scottish dude, very anti-war. He was against the Iraq War, against even going back from like to the 80s. He's always just kind of an anti-imperialist. Um, there's a famous video. I'll send you the link to the clip when he spoke in front of Congress in like 2004 or five. So he was against the Iraq War, and it was like a Republican cocksucker from Minnesota, Republican, like absolute. He actually kind of looks like Newsom, but I think Jewish. Or Newsom might be Jewish, but something Coleman. Anyways, famous interview where he kind of like. I like it when people are able to shit on fucking senators, but like he's a very. You know who George Galloway is? Is my question.
No.
Okay. Well, congratulations to George on his victory. Second political thing, just to hear the State of the Union addresses this week. I don't know if it's tomorrow or Thursday. It's sometime. You think Joe Biden's going to do a good job? Is he going to overdose on amphetamines? Or is he going to fall asleep?
I think President Weekend at Bernie's will be fine. He's just like Weekend at Bernie's, man. They're just gonna
So the
prop him
right
up.
amount of drugs. The right amount of drugs.
It's just like I literally that's my impression of him. I'm like, he's Bernie, dude. Like they're just like, yeah, we can, the president. It's just a bunch of people like moving his hands and his arms and stuff. It's like this half dead dude, and it's like this presidency is more about the party, right? So it's Super Tuesday. I had to vote today.
Yeah, I had Super Tuesday down too, but I was watching some. I was just gonna. I forget. Actually, Let's look up the results of what's going on.
We
Like some
already
of them
know
are
what
just
it
fucking
is.
obvious.
There's no run. There's nothing. There's no. We already know what it is. But I will say I
No,
like
this
that Nikki Haley is not stepping out. Though I think that's good. I think you go back to some of the older times back in the day, like some of those elections, the candidates we got, the eventual presidents we got, were decided on like ballots late into the night, like after multiple votes and stuff. Like Warren G. Harding, it was not the either party's first choice as president. It's like where we settled after like all this gridlock.
Yeah, but there's some. Yeah, but there's also like some interesting races going on. Um, Here, where's the Colorado one? What's her name? Who's that woman? And her son was just arrested for a bunch of shit. She's like one of those. She's the one that was like rumored that maybe that pro wrestler was actually her dad.
Oh, I don't know. Is this the lady that
Fucking
did the hand job in the movie theater?
yeah, Bulbert.
Yeah, there you go.
So so they redistrict that shit in Colorado.
But like,
Um,
is any of that really interesting though? Like, really, the interesting thing is the total numbers that each party will get because we're just living in the era of partisan politics. So I think
I
the
guess,
thing
but
that
she's rather annoying.
yeah, but I just know that like whatever the tallies are, that's the way all the votes are going to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that interesting for me from this aspect of it's very simple. We could foretell the future. However many Republicans, however many Democrats, nobody's going to change their mind. Everybody's going to vote for their party. We're at this weird apex that I mean, it's like I don't really care for it, and I don't believe that anybody other than the politicians themselves can stop that gridlock. You got to be able to reach across the aisle. Like we really need bipartisanship in a way that
Dude,
I know for sure it's not going to happen from each side. Like neither side is looking for that, and they will get rid of you if I think that they feel that you are bipartisan in some nature. They're looking for hardliners. Trump has spent all this time since the last election and now getting rid of Republicans that he feels will not toe the line and will not be 100% pro their stances. So
yeah, the
whatever these
Democrats do
numbers end up.
the Democrats do the same thing, but at the same time, also for the most part, we have a one party system, so it's actually very bipartisan. There's a couple issues that they fight over, and the rest just gets through.
Dude,
So
it's
it's a
not.
very
Yeah, but
one party.
I mean, I can respect the sense in which you say it's a very bipartisan system, and that there's a lot of stuff that we do actually do get through that we don't, see or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, even the budget, there's always like a looming shutdown because it's politics now. Like there's a lot of stuff now today that is affected by bipartisanship. Like when we were coming up, we were kids. I don't think anybody thought
Dude, Ralph, they've been
one
kicking.
party would have enough to move like let's say abortion, but we've done that and we've seen through Republicans that everything's on the table.
Yeah, but Ralph, they've been
Every
kicking. they've been kicking the can down the road for like since we were in high school and probably long before that.
Before that, yeah.
And a lot of it's just like political stunts because like I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess Trump did shut down the government, but I think Trump shut down the government when the Republicans also controlled the House and Senate. Wasn't that like a thing? Was it
They
2017?
don't want to go with him, but they will for power. And they have made many overtures to get away from him, but it's not
Oh
going to
yeah, no, they
happen.
don't
So,
like Trump. I'm not saying they like Trump. I'm just saying the last time the government shut down, well, because they keep on passing. It's not like the government shut down recently. So I'm trying to think of. I think it was 2017 when Trump shut down the government, but the Republicans also controlled Congress, so it was like fucking bizarre. I don't even know what Trump was demanding. I forget what it was. I think it was like money for the wall or something. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I
why
think it
did
was
Trump
something
shut down the
stupid
government
like
when he had Republicans control the House and Senate? That was fucking nuts. But
yeah.
yeah, a lot of just political stuff. So like they can raise money off this. Like abortion's the same thing. Remember Obama? There's great clips where Obama ran on in 2008 when he got into office. He'd ratify Roe v. Wade, and then it just never happened. And he had control of the House and Senate, and it just doesn't happen. And it's the same thing now. It's just easy. It's just
I
raising
think
money off
maybe
of it.
for did he really? No, I think he only had the house. I thought at that time
He had
when he
the House
first
and
got
Senate in
in.
2008. Obviously, a lot of the Democrats didn't like him because a lot of the Democrats are very conservative. Um,
The
yeah, but this is
stories for him were like, "Oh my god, he
but
wore a
but this
mustard
is
suit."
but Clinton did
Anything.
the same thing in '93 or whatever. Like so, this it's not like a new
No,
thing.
Clinton actually did triangulate his presidency. That is a presidency that got things
I'm
done
talking
in a
about
bipartisan way
I'm
because
talking
he
about
did
Roe
burn
v.
the
Wade.
Democrats. He got into power and he basically said to them, "Well, fuck you guys. I'm the president." So they had to come to the table just like the Republicans did, and he did business with both parties, neither party exclusively or one or the other.
No, but I'm saying
That's what
that
made
no, you're missing my point. My point is this: the
No, but
Democrats
I'm just
still
saying you said he was the same as this other presidency. I'm saying no, it's not. The Clinton presidency is marketably different because that is bipartisan politics right there. Like he went against his party and he used policies from both sides to shape his presidency, and
yeah.
they
It's
didn't
like
like that.
NAFTA. They got
Right, and they
they
didn't
got
like that
Clinton
shit.
over,
That's
and
why he
Clinton
got.
was
That's why
able
he
to
almost got
and,
impeached.
and
Yeah,
Clinton
because
was
he
able to
lost
do
so
a
much
bunch
in
of
the support.
Republican conservative policies that a Republican actually would be able to do, but because it was a Democrat, you're able to pass these bad things. I'd be like, oh, well, it's bipartisan, so that's good. I'd be like, well, no, it's not. It's still bad policy. I mean, he's from fucking Arkansas, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's got nothing to do with
But
it.
But I'm not even talking about it. I'm just saying the Democrats have been running on protecting abortion forever. They raise money off it. The Republicans have been raising money off not liking abortion since like the 70s, whenever they couldn't discriminate against black people as much. And then so it ends up being just like raising money off these issues. So it's just all bullshit.
But it's not though. They're changing the laws though now. That's the whole point. Before it used to just be what you
Okay,
said, but
yeah,
it's
but the
not.
Democrats are still not going to change the laws. They rather raise money off the abortion issue than actually
Republicans
make
are
sure everybody
changing
has
the
it.
law. The Supreme Court just repealed the law. The law is changing. That is not the same as when we were growing up. There was a lot of talk from both sides, but there were no actual changes. We saw the Supreme Court
Okay,
repeal
but yeah, but
Roe
that's not.
versus
Yeah, but
Wade.
Ralph, that's not true. So
That's a
abortion,
huge
all
change.
right. First of all, so in Missouri now, for the last like fucking 20 years, you can't get an abortion unless you have money. That's why I knew a woman. That's why all these like
You're
women
making
health
circular
clinics
arguments that don't
are
even
on
make
the
sense. Go to your next.
Illinois Missouri border, so women from Missouri can come over and have an abortion. That was set up 20 years ago. So like a lot of these red states, like you think it's easy to get an abortion in Alabama, fucking before this decision? No, it was already outlawed, essentially outlawed anyways, unless you were like a rich white woman. So,
Those are weak
but
arguments. Like, let them do it anyway because it's almost outlawed anyway. Like, go on. I don't resonate with that.
But I'm saying, yeah, but you're talking about how the laws are changing. I'm saying that no, they're the same laws from 20 years ago. You already could not get an abortion in these states for
If you
the
can't
average
see that
person.
the laws are changing because they literally overturned Roe versus Wade, then there's no point in continuing the conversation. Like that's just arguing for the sake of arguing. The law has
Okay, what was
clearly
the law 10
changed.
years ago in Missouri, Ralph? What was the
The
law 10
law.
years ago in Missouri?
Well, you're telling me you're getting heated and you're telling me about a about a hypothetical situation
It's
that
not
isn't even
hypothetical. I'm
fucking
telling you
real
what
about
happened.
people that you
It's not
actually don't even
hypothetical.
fucking know. You just made up some scenario and you're saying it's real
What
because
did
you
I make
said.
up?
Show me an argument or show me some proof because what I said is actually fucking true. The law changed. Roe v. Wade was in power 20 years ago, 2 years ago for that matter, and it's not now. The laws are changing. The law changed. The laws are changing. Regardless of what's really happening, you're telling me about what you think because it was on paper. I don't give a shit about that. You said specifically things are not changing. And I said specifically, the difference is they are changing. When we were kids, like you said in high school, it was a lot of philosophical arguments. But my point when asked about it was that the difference is simple. We are actually moving policy now. That's a little different than it was before. It was
Yeah, but
always a
you don't know
threat.
what
But
the
we're literally
abortion rules from
moving
10 years
policy
ago
now.
were, so it doesn't matter. This is not hypothetical, Ralph. I'm talking about what has already existed in these southern states.
So what laws changed 10 years ago? Tell me what laws changed 10 years ago since you want to talk down to me like that about it. Tell me what fucking laws changed 10 years ago. Because if you can't tell me what law, if you just want to say, oh, well, it was
All
just
right, shut
hard,
up,
then
shut up.
I don't give a fuck about
They
that
made
then, actually.
fucking policy changes decades ago that made it so it was already impossible to get an abortion in these states. How did they do
So,
that?
so,
They,
so that's what I've
no,
been
I'm
asking
I'll go
you is
through it.
about tell me what those fucking things are because you just
I'm
made
going to
you
right
just made
now.
a counter argument a few minutes ago. Now you're just making circular arguments because you think it's fun to yell. Like you're not even
No,
making
you
any
don't
sense with
understand
what
what
you
I'm
said
saying.
before.
No, you make it sound like the fucking all of a sudden the Supreme Court changed. Supreme Court ruled on Roe v. Wade
Okay, you're right.
2
You're
years
right.
ago.
The laws
And
have been the
everything's
same for.
different.
Okay,
I'm
you're
telling
right. You're
you,
right. I'm
nothing.
sorry. I didn't read that. You're right. I didn't read that. I didn't see that in the news. The Supreme Court didn't do anything. The laws have been the same.
It didn't
You're right.
affect
Okay.
Missouri. Missouri has the same laws as they
Let's
did
move
2
on.
years ago.
Let's move on. I misread that.
No,
I
you
misread
don't
that.
understand.
Apparently,
Okay,
I don't
you
know what
don't
I read.
understand
I
that
misread that.
abortion was already illegal in these states. You don't understand that. So
Yeah, you're right. I don't understand that. I don't understand things. You're right.
yeah, you
Let's move on.
don't.
You're right. I don't. You're right.
What else do you have? What else do you have?
That was it.
I have a Twitter algorithm thing. They're gonna be like,
I
oh,
don't want
that's
to talk.
Elon Musk's thing.
I don't want to talk about that. It's been like an hour and 45 minutes. I'm good.
I'm just getting going.
Well, I got to clock in at work tomorrow, bud. So,
Yeah, it's like fucking 7:25 there.
and I still got shit to do. I stopped working and I started doing this. I have a whole life after that, dude. I'm not going to fucking argue with you all night long. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not gonna argue all night long.
You're right, because we're done.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a hour and 45 is obviously long enough. I'm not arguing against that. Well, you should look into what abortion was in Missouri just 3 years ago. Because I'm
Go
telling
ahead and
you,
mansplain it to me. Go ahead and mansplain it to me. Or better yet, start the fucking Google document like you said and put the shit in the Google document and then I will fucking address it the next time.
yeah,
How
it's
about
not
that?
recent things. This is stuff I've known
And
about
just
forever.
fucking do that then. That would actually solve the problem. Like when we stop recording, make the document. Put the arguments and put the link to the article that you want me to look at in there, and I will look at it and address it the next time. Simple as
Okay,
that. Like as
that's a
simple as
deal.
that.
That's a
All
deal.
right, cool. All right,
Upload
cool.
the video properly this time because I do want to see it.
I uploaded it properly last time. It just took me one extra time because I never did it with
I
another
know it's
person
a
before.
joke,
If you
Ralph.
want to do it, you can, or else I'll just do it the way I want to fucking do it. How's that?
I, it's a joke, Ralph. You need to calm down.
It wasn't that funny. It wasn't that funny. If you want to make jokes, then they should be funny.
No, I
To
like
be
you're like,
honest
oh
with you.
no, I did put up right. I mean, did you upload the video and not see it? No, we don't have to argue about it. I can go into an angry rant, but it's not actually angry. I'm just trying to come up with something to be fun.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
not funny though. But it's not funny though. Like it's funny to
I know,
you,
I know
but
your
it's not funny
sensitive. I
to
know.
me. And it's the same reason I explained to you the last time I saw you. So obviously none of that actually took heart. So got it.
Yeah,
All
we're
right,
trying
man.
to do an entertainment podcast. Which, by the way, this one was better than last week's for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna do an entertainment podcast, but the one thing about that is you think demeaning is funny, and I think there's a lot of other ways to be funny, and you're not even that fucking funny when you're trying to be demeaning to me. It's like a personal joke for you that's not funny
Yeah,
to
but
me
normally
or
it's not even
anybody
demeaning
else,
to
I
you.
don't
You
think.
just take
So
it
I'm not
personally.
against it.
Don't
And
worry
I'm
about
not
it.
against being made. No, it's not that. It's just like no, it's not that. It's just like I don't think you can tell how obvious it is, but I can. When you want to make a reaction, you just talk in circles with random shit and you raise your voice to get a reaction when you already fucking know what you're doing and I know what you're doing. Like just make a solid point. You don't have to like if you want me to make a solid point and be logical, then you got to do it too. Don't just fucking rant and rave and you know talk shit at me just to because you think it's interesting. Be funnier, damn it! Like be funnier.
Okay, well, you should have more logical points. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But what do you think about? I'm down for like. Are you free usually Tuesday nights? Should we just be like? I mean, because we're
It
gonna have to do this
is if
for
I, it is if
months,
we can
months.
cap it. It is if we can cap it. If we
What
can
does that
cap
mean?
it, and it's like we start at this time, we finish at this time, then I can do it.
So this
Yeah,
is too late. So I mean, an hour 45 is not that long. So I mean, and I can't. It's not like I can talk that much longer. So like, yeah, but you're fine with like an hour and a half, hour 45. And I'm not saying that's
yeah,
going to be the time that ends up working well for us, especially when you're not making any money, from it. But as soon as we get some other stuff going, I think, and we're talking like we're talking months and months and months from now. Um, but I think around an hour and a half is good.
yeah.
An hour and a half, but
Yeah.
like, and then, but I'd rather just have down. So like every Tuesday, 7:30,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, you know, I'm very excited to do this podcast, Ralph. Um, and our conflict is also going to be one of the reasons why people fucking watch it. And it's not like our conflict is like maybe I'm too mean sometimes, but we'll let the audience decide. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's just going to take months, and yeah, it's fun doing. I think so far.
I think it. I've liked doing the podcast. It's not that it's not fun, but what I said is true. Like there's different ways to make it interesting. Don't fucking yell at me or disrespect me just to because you think this is
I
gonna
like how
get
you
over.
could. I like how at the beginning you were able to passively aggressively insult me because you're comfortable with that, and then I can't just say stuff that's obvious. Like
Well, you weren't just saying
I
stuff. You were just screaming. No, you weren't just saying stuff. You're just screaming. It's just like before with the girl. It's just
yeah,
like I
but
don't think you realize
what
at
we
some
want to.
point you're just
Yeah, see,
screaming at me that I'm wrong. And it's my opinion. So it's like it's fucking not wrong actually. You're just screaming at me because it's
no, it
different than
wasn't
what
your
you want.
opinion. You kept on saying, "Okay, that's not what happened." We'll have notes for it next week.
I mean,
Next
like
week,
I
I'll
didn't
say,
yell at you and it was like we didn't like I didn't fucking
"Yeah,
yell at
I
you, but
don't
it
care
was
about
like
yelling. You can yell at me all you want.
okay, well it's
No, I
like
don't.
in the beginning it's like, like I said, why don't we like to me it's really fucking simple. Like we go back and forth. You say a thing, I say a thing, you say a thing, I say a thing. We each get through five, and it's fucking done. That's not what happened today, and I didn't flip out about that. It was like,
I didn't flip out
like
about anything. I'm
no, I
passionate about
know, but it
something
also
else.
didn't go that way, and I didn't flip out about it. Is what I'm saying. Like, so don't fucking flip out about shit that I say
I
that
didn't
you
flip
don't
out about
like. Like,
anything.
do it.
What?
Watch the
That
tape and
I
tell me if
flip
you
out about stuff I
watch the
don't like.
tape and tell me if you flip out about anything.
No, you said I flipped out about stuff I don't like. What does that even mean? Okay, we'll save it for next time. Um, um, let me just see. I had a couple other notes, just like other things. Oh fuck, we got to think of a name at some point. I guess I have nothing with a name yet. I think you had a good name last time. I can't remember what it was because we'll have to like set up all that shit, you
What
know.
do you
So we
mean?
have
Like
we
for I
name the
don't
show.
I
Well, we
didn't
need a
say anything.
name for the show. I thought we did talk about it. Because I thought you actually had a good name on something, or maybe I was talking to Tim. I don't know.
Maybe it was I think on the YouTube video I put Operation Salt and Pepper or something like that. I think is what I put
Oh
on
yeah,
the.
maybe that's what it was.
I did put
Yeah,
that
I
on the
mean,
YouTube. Yeah, I did put that on the YouTube. Yeah, Operation Salt and Pepper. I did put that on the YouTube. Yeah.
yeah. What we'll have to do, I think. Well, anyways, I'll think of names. Let's try to come up. Let's each have like at least a couple names to pitch to each other next week. Um, or you can put it in the Google Doc. Um, but it is good, like to have a name where we can get the username for everything, which is very difficult in 2024. But it would be nice to have a nice username so we can get the YouTube channel, the Twitter handle, blah 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 blah, Instagram, all that shit, you know, and just a uniform thing. So hopefully we can think of a domain name. So hopefully we can think of a nice, clever name for the show.
All right.
Because the YouTube one's important because that's how we're gonna be able to make some money doing this, and so we got to get those hours in and the subscribers in there at some point. Again, there's no hurry on this. I'm not in a rush. Let's try to work on this, and as long as we do it every week, I think we'll be okay. The conflict is good, Ralph, but yeah, and then over time, I think we come up with like fun segments. Oh yeah, then also yeah,
The
hopefully
conflict is not
whenever
the
you
problem. What I'm saying is the conflict will be organic. Like you don't need to make it because you think it's time for it. Like it's organic. Like
it was
you.
organic right now. I only do shit organic. But yeah, no, we should have Danny on though at some point. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay, well, don't be too excited. Um, all right, dude.
What the fuck do you want from me, dude? I just worked a full fucking day and I still got shit I gotta do. Like I'm exhausted. Like what would you like me to?
Well, we're trying to do a show here, so a little bit more energy. We can do a different time. I mean, I'm free other than Wednesdays. Wednesday nights I go to trivia. Besides that, I can do any night. Tuesdays are fine with me, and I'd rather have you whatever works for you, Ralph. Other than Wednesday nights, where you're going to be. I mean, I want to make money doing this show. So whatever you think works the best for you, as long as
We're
it's not in the
still
morning.
figuring it out though, dude. We're still figuring it out.
I agree. I
I
agree.
don't fucking know today right now, and I'm still trying to figure it out into my schedule too. Like I have all this other shit going on too. This is not the first thing I'm thinking about every day or the fifth or whatever, but it's important to me. I'll figure it out. I don't fucking know right this moment. Hey, this day is I think right now Tuesday
No, I
5:30
think
is
Tues I
fine.
think Tuesdays are fine for as long. But I'm just saying, like, and then I say something, and you're just kind of nod. Like that's not good for the podcast. You have to. It's just not good. It's a
The
show
podcast
right
is
now.
fucking over. We're about to get off the phone. What the fuck you want from me?
It's still going. It's not over until it's over. It's not over until I fuck that fat woman. No, fuck that fat lady. Okay.
Like I said, I'll laugh when you make it funny.
Okay. And one day I will laugh from one of your jokes. So that's why I think our show would be like because I do watch like one super chat show, and I think that would be funny because I think we'd be able to do a show where I have like some of my fans in theory, and then you'd also have some of your fans, and I think we could make some money just because your fans want to shit on me. I think we could make some money doing that.
I agree.
So yeah.
I
So I
agree.
don't know. 2 weeks in a row, I think it's a big deal. So
Yeah, I'm not worried about consecutively doing it. I fucking did
no,
this
but it's about.
5, 6 years in a row every week. I mean, I'm
I
not.
I,
I'm
I
not
know,
worried about
I know, I know, but we haven't. So I think that's good. And yeah, I think we just continue. I think it's just like you just put in the work. It might take like a year or two, but it doesn't really cost us any money. And we'll get better at it.
that. Cool.
Nods are always good for video podcasting.
What?
That's a joke. Yeah,
I
I know
didn't.
you, dude. I know you, dude. You're tired. I get it.
I didn't
Um,
hear you. I didn't hear you.
oh, I said nods are good for podcasting. No, because the last bunch of
Oh,
things I asked you, you're just like, okay, well, it's not good for a podcast. That's all I'm saying. But um, let's stick with. I like this idea of the Amazon healthcare thing. I think that's like a running thing because I'll look more into it as well. And I'll, in the Mark, and we'll talk about, and there's like a Mark Cuban like pharmaceutical company. We could talk about that as well. But I think that's like an on running thing, which is a good topic. So then we could talk about because something's going to come up every couple months from this, So it'll always be something that we can talk about with this. So I think it's like a good long running storyline that we can do. Because I disagree,
yeah.
and it's good too because I disagree with you on it. And so but we'll see how it plays out. I think it's just a good storyline. So that's yeah, that was good that you brought that up for sure. And then it'll be a nice break for us. At some point, we'll start doing little clips. We're not like a clip show, but we could put some clips in. So it gives us a break, and then we have something to make fun of and stuff like that. I think.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and yeah, it'd be great to have Danny on at some point. Um, because maybe we need like a third mic, anyways. We'll figure it out later. It's not, Again, I'm not rushing. I'm not like trying to get this done right now. Usually every time else I want to do a podcast with you, I kind of always just like felt like I was under the gun to like make something happen and shit. But I at least have enough like leeway now until at least like the fall where I don't have to worry about it as much. So that gives us plenty of months to work through a lot of this shit.
What do you mean till the fall?
Oh, I'm just saying I I I, I, I have enough. I guess even probably past the fall, but no, I just have a leeway where I don't have to worry about making money right this second as much as what I would have been before when we were trying to do this stuff like years and years and years ago. And it's not that's not like not a fun cycle to be in, obviously, and you don't get a great product from it versus us just taking our time and figuring it out week to week. Does that not make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah, but you froze like in the middle of it a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit. I think my
Oh, okay.
connection was shitty too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look into. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. I mean, and I was less drunk this time. Last week, I don't know why. That was stupid of me. I apologize for that. I think I apologized fucking last week. But yeah, we'll do it 7:30 next Tuesday,
Sounds like a plan to me, sir.
and I'm already dreading watching this back when I'm high.
Well, I'll be sure to upload it correctly this time.
Yeah, because I look like a fucking psycho otherwise. Because then it was just me moving around and like you can't hear anything, and then I just start talking again, and be like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah. No, I know what it
Yeah,
was that
no,
made me do
dude, I know
that
you'll be fine.
versus the two of us, so it should not be a problem
Yeah,
this
no,
time.
yeah, dude. Again, I'm not in any rush. Every week, we just got to get a little bit better, and that's it. Or we kill each other, but we can't because you don't live near here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nah,
well,
Tuesday at 5:30. That'll work. That'll be good. That'll work.
all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, all right, sounds good. It is fucking cold and rainy here, so
Yeah, it's a
go
little
back
cold here
to
too. But I should have it up in however long it takes it to.
yeah, for sure.
But
And that's what'll be nice too
short.
when we start. At some point, we could just do these live, and that'll make a lot of things easier.
Yeah, for sure. For
Okay,
sure, dude.
well, we'll see. I
All
think
right,
this could
man.
be a wild adventure. But
All right, buddy.
all right, dude. Have a great night.
All right, you too.
Enjoy
I'll have it
your.
up in a little bit.
Yeah, awesome.